Sharon Moore loves making rivalry moves, and though a bit removed, he just made another one. We're reacting to former Ohio State defensive coordinator Kerry Coombs joining the Michigan football staff on this episode of Locked On Wolverines.
You are Locked On Wolverines, your daily podcast on the Michigan Wolverines, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Saturday. We are back and doing it. Locked On Wolverines podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the number one sports network anywhere in America today. I'm your man on the ground, Isaiah Hole, publisher of Wolverines Wire through USA Today Sports Media Group. Thank you for making us your first listen. I'm assuming on a Sunday because it's 7:55 in the PM on Saturday. And thank you to all of our everydayers out there. We're making up for the missed Friday show with this Saturday episode. Was the plan. I didn't have all of the things that I wanted to talk about. Not that I knew that Kerry Coombs was being hired. I didn't. That was something of a shock to me, but we're going to talk about it. We're also going to get into Michigan, supposedly, this is going to be really outdated really quickly, but slotted into the Citrus Bowl without necessarily having an opponent. And then we're going to get back to some coaching stuff and just talk about kind of the trajectory of the team at the moment. So let's do that, starting with the Kerry Coombs of it all. If you don't know who Kerry Coombs is, he was a long time ace recruiter for Ohio State. He recruited the Detroit area. He's originally from Cincinnati. He was there for several years under Urban Meyer. He left and went to, in the first couple of years of Ryan Day, if memory serves, and went to the Tennessee Titans for a couple of years. And then he came back and he was the defensive coordinator for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And when Michigan scored 42 on him, he was out. So that's not a great selling point, but he's not coaching the defense. So that's a good thing, given kind of what that was. He's an excellent secondary coach. He's an excellent special teams coach. He's an ace recruiter. He knows where the bodies are buried in Columbus. I say that figuratively. I'm not making... Okay, J-Book, where are we at here? We're sitting at 237. You can clip that part before it so then we can make it sound like I said something completely different than what I actually did say. But I mean that in jest, jokingly. I don't believe that there's anything that Kerry Coombs is going to just come to Ann Arbor and nail Ohio State for. Always have to watch our words way more carefully on these Michigan shows than I'm sure the Ohio State contingent on the other side do. Funny that. Nonetheless, I mean, he ended up, after he was ousted from Ohio State following the 2021 season, he went to Cincinnati, where he was the secondary coach and special teams coordinator there, and did a very good job with both of those. So JB Brown, who was the one who was just ousted, the special teams coordinator, was just ousted on Wednesday. He worked with the safeties as well. So now they've got someone to, kind of cooperate with Lamar Morgan, I would assume, and work a bit with the secondary on top of the special teams. I think you can expect that the special teams will become a strength for Michigan from here on in, because like before, I don't really know what the special teams were doing this year. I have no idea. I can't really sit there and tell you with a straight face, like, yeah, man, it was, you can see what they were trying to do and all that. Like that, it's not the case. So at least there will be competency. And on top of it, I mean, it's a fun rivalry thing, right? Like Tony Alford before the last season. And listen, Tony loves it in Ann Arbor. He feels like he made the right move for him and everything. So it'll be interesting to see, with another one. Like we've seen these coaches kind of trade. Ed Warner came aboard in 18. Then both Greg Madison and Al Washington left the 18 team and went over to Ohio State that next year. I'm still kind of bitter. I'm probably more so about Al Washington because he was my guy. He was my guy. So, But just to have that back and forth, right? Like of guys who are going between the rivalry, which isn't exactly what you would expect necessarily in this rivalry. But I think it's absolutely massive for Michigan to get a guy. If they're going to stay with the coordinator, the special teams coordinator, I think this is an excellent move. Now we'll get more into the coaching, like what I wish Michigan would do and what and at this point, like I can't sit there. Like I said, I'm not going to call for anyone's jobs. Would you look at some shuffling? What would you do? I'm not sure, but there's you know that at least this position group is at least going to be shored up. You know, it's going to ruffle a lot of feathers if it hasn't already down in Columbus. And, you hope it works out kind of the same way of bringing Alford in last year. Obviously didn't work out this year. So nonetheless, I mean, I think that's a great start. It's a positive move for Michigan to bring in Kerry Coombs. And I think that's going to pay dividends in that phase. And considering how good special teams were for years with Chris Partridge and Jay Harbaugh running the show there, and then just kind of how, again, not to just pile on JB Brown, but just how abysmal it has been. I mean, there was just nothing working. There's not one part of special teams that you can sit there and say, well, this year, at least this was good, because Dominic Zavada took a step back. Samaj Morgan was a disaster as a punt returner. They didn't really return a lot of kicks. The punting was beyond abysmal. So with all of that, I mean, I think that just getting it to just the point where, hey, this isn't a group that shoots itself in the foot every single time it's out there is a huge win. And to get to have the shot over the bow and all of that stuff, I think that's just really positive for Michigan in this case. So interesting, to say the least. So we are going to move on. Let's talk about the report that Michigan is locked into the Citrus Bowl. We'll circle back on some coaching stuff, and we're going to do that here in just a moment. NFL Sundays move fast, one big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet the next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. All right, let's talk a little bit about this Brett McMurphy report, which actually Chris Ballas had it seemingly first. Not seemingly, he did. Michigan is locked into the Citrus Bowl in Orlando. So I get to do my whole Orlando, SeaWorld and Disney and putt-putt golfing. Yeah, that's me doing Book of Mormon singing. I obviously love going to Orlando with the going to Disney, which, by the way, not just a kids park. I'm not sitting there riding the teacups or anything like that. I'm going on Avatar Flight of Passage and doing the Star Wars thing and the Guardians of the Galaxy coaster. I get to see my buddy Luke DeMello. So that, like, it's a great trip. I'm mad at Brittany Whitcraft, but I'm putting that in there just to annoy her. That's an inside thing. None of you need to worry about that. But nonetheless, Michigan versus an SEC opponent. All signs point to Texas, but you wonder. Alabama just got absolutely demolished by Texas, not Texas, sorry, by Georgia. I don't think that's going to affect already also 3-loss Texas, which has lost a lot of their big games, but not all of them. I think it more so opens the door for either Miami or Notre Dame. So I think that, and maybe even BYU, who's only got 2 losses as well. So I would think that it's going to be Texas. I know that there are some that have one, Brad Crawford, I think, slotted Vanderbilt in as his, and it could be, man, I'm just hoping not. I mean, no offense to Vanderbilt, but like, what do I talk about on this show all the time? And some people have said like, yeah, you shouldn't want this in the regular season. I still do. I haven't changed as far as this is concerned. Like, just be better and beat those big non-conference opponents, and you're in a good standing. I'd rather play and lose to an Oklahoma or Texas in week 2, like they have the last 2 years. And that way you at least know what you got, right? Like, like if Michigan didn't have that and they just eke in, I'm like, okay, I don't know that they're ready for this. I'd rather there be a tougher schedule, but I also would rather there be those name brand recognitions, because it's more exciting regardless of how good, an Indiana or a Texas Tech is this year. And I think they're both very good. I would not be surprised if that's the national championship game. I mean, probably not, but it very well could be. I think they're both capable to make it that far. But I think it's just way more exciting to have that name brand. And Texas, I think, is a good barometer, even if it's like, hey, there's a lot of guys there that wanted to be in the college football playoffs. Steve Sarkisian made his whole thing. This will tell you a lot, just like the Alabama game could have, if the defense played up to that level that it did in that game, where the front just dominated the Alabama offensive line. Granted, maybe that was a matchup specific thing, because the Georgia defensive line just absolutely dominated the Alabama offensive line as well. But I love it, honestly. Like, and I think I love it for more than one reason. This is one of the things, I think I said this on a show about a month and a half ago. I think it's the one that didn't make it in, when I was talking about, like, okay, your dress rehearsal, the 3-game dress rehearsal, the audio made it up, but the video didn't. And I think that I said, like, I think that one of the better things for Michigan in this moment is to not make the college football playoff. In terms of, like, how do you want to have that sustained success? Sometimes failure, Bryce Underwood even said this on the show that's on, is it on Paramount Plus or Peacock or whatever it is, the 5-star show, that he learns more from failure than in losing than he does from, wins and success. And I think that this could be a really good moment for Michigan to play in what is considered a lesser bowl game. They are coming off the embarrassing loss from to Ohio State. They've got a lot to prove. It'll be interesting to see. I wonder if there's going to be a lot of opt-outs. I can't imagine there's going to be, because I feel like there's not any like surefire first round guys like last year with Mason and Kenneth and Will Johnson. Will was already still injured and whatever, Colston, all those guys that, they knew they were going to be top picks. I think that this is going to be a moment where, for like a Rayshon Benny or a Trey Williams or, even like a Jair Hill, who I think needs to probably come back. I think this is a good opportunity for him to show what he's got against what can be a very explosive Texas front. Texas pass game. Don't know where I said front there, why I lost it there. So I love it. I think this is a great moment, because it's one of those things where, yeah, you want to be in the playoff, and they got to be in a playoff next year, right? Like, they have to, and the schedule is not very forgiving. So you have that, but I think that it's a good launching pad, springboard into next year, and try to figure out what you got. Figure out that much more where you need to improve this offseason, what transfer guys you need to get, if something gets exposed that maybe wasn't before. I mean, you already kind of learned against Ohio State, like, hey, this defensive front, which had played really well against most teams, it can't hang with the better offensive lines, right? Like, you already kind of knew that, but like, it kind of felt like the same type of mentality that like Ohio State had in 2021, where it was like, oh, look, they fixed it. And it turned out that wasn't the case. So I think this has a lot of positives, and I'm really excited to see what Michigan does with that and who they end up playing. And I hope it's Texas. We'll know tomorrow. We'll probably do a quick reaction show just to talk about the matchup whenever that's announced. But get down to Orlando. It's going to be warm. I think if you're not in the college football playoff, this is the place to be. And I've seen some complaining from some people that said, like, oh, I wish it was just a different game, whether it's Vegas or Pinstripe Bowl. And I'm like, I would rather not fly all the way across the country for a meaningless game, or to just as cold New York City I'd rather be in the warmth. And I think a lot of you probably would too. And at least you can end the season on a high note where if they were in the college football playoff, they weren't going to do that. Like, I don't think anyone here, even if they had beaten Ohio State, I don't think anyone here was under any kind of belief that Michigan was going to make a run and actually like win the thing. But because there's only one way if you're in that 12 team to end your season on a high note, and it's to win it all. That's one of the things that I kind of don't like about the changing of college football. I liked that, hey, you went 9-3 in the regular season, but you can still end on a high note. You can still end on a low note, but I mean, it's a 50-50 proposition essentially that you're going to end it on a high note. So I think this is better for the program at the moment. Because it just gives you more things to kind of work with, it gives you more things to, to have that kind of oomph in the locker room if they win it, or like recognize if they lose it, like, okay, this is how far back we are. We couldn't beat Texas. They lost to Ohio State by 7. We lost to Ohio State by 1 million. We need to fix some things, right? So I think it's not a win-win, but as close to a win-win as you can get in a season like this. So that's where I'm at. All right. We are going to continue on, and we're going to talk a little bit about some more coaching things, and we're going to do so here in just a moment. But before we do, the holidays are officially here, which means gift hunting season is on. And if you want something meaningful and personal and guaranteed to get a reaction, technical difficulties here, get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every time. It's not just something that you wrap, it's a way to share memories. Because Aura isn't your average picture frame. You can preload the frame with photos before gifting it, so when they plug it in, the memories are already there. No apps to figure out, no setup headaches, just instant smiles. My grandma actually has one of these, and not one time goes by that I go to her house that she isn't pointing out pictures on it, talking about the memories, how much she loves to picture people in the family, and a heck of a lot more. You can add a personalized message right inside the frame, so the gift feels thoughtful the moment that it's open. The packaging comes gift ready. No price tag, no wrapping needed, huge win. It's a holiday gift that actually gets used, not forgotten in a drawer. For a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver Mat frames, named /1 by Wirecutter, by using promo code COLLEGE at checkout. That's Aura Frames, AURA frames.com, promo code college. This deal is exclusive to listeners and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. All right, there's another coaching news thing that it has happened. Juan Castillo is departing the program for Syracuse. And so the safety net for Grant Newsome is officially gone. I wouldn't be surprised if they still hire another seasoned offensive analyst, right? Like, 'cause I mean, you just can, so you might as well. And I think that Grant's kind of come into his own this year. I think you saw that. There's still some work to be done, but it's as much as I like to say youth is not an excuse. It's not an excuse for Sharon Moore. Right? Because you can't sit there, like I said in an earlier show this week, you can't sit there and say like, oh, we're a young team while having said all season, like these guys aren't freshmen anymore. You can't do that. So I think that that is a bona fide excuse if you didn't use the latter excuse, essentially. So I'm just really interested to see what what they do there. But that is a big loss to have a guy of the caliber of Juan Castillo, who has been around. He's been in the NFL for like my lifetime, essentially, to lose him to be the Syracuse offensive line coach. It's interesting because you would think they would do it kind of the other way around in a way to begin with. Right. But you weren't going to demote Grant once he got the job, but hey, he was there for the taking at some point. I know it was after UCLA and all of that. So Michigan hired their special teams coordinator, Kerry Coombs. Still think that's a huge move. It will just be interesting to see what they do, because I still stand by that they need a quarterbacks coach. But now, there's really not any room for that, right? Unless Chip Lindsey's the wide receivers coach. You move Ron Bellamy to like a staffer role. And I'm not saying that you're going to do that. I'm just spitballing here. I don't know what they would do in order to get there unless you're hiring an analyst to do so. Right now, Josh Synagoga is the quarterback's coach, essentially. You're right. Just like Pernell McPhee is the outside linebackers, edge rushers coach. I think you could do something like that, but you're going to have to be savvy to do it. Like, it doesn't have to be one of those typical 10 on field coaches, but you've got to make a savvy move. I think they need to still do that because I don't know that they're going to change anyone else at this point unless they do some shuffling. So that'll be interesting. But to lose Castillo, add Kerry Coombs, that's kind of a hit or miss day in some ways. I think the adding Kerry Coombs news is way bigger and way more. So I'm excited to see what that nets and where that goes. But I still feel like that's important. You would like to see, like, again, like, I'm not calling for anyone's jobs, but like, Jim Harbaugh made the tough choices in 2020, and I didn't agree with most of them, to be honest. Got rid of Ed Warner, who I still love and still think like he's a home run type of guy when it comes to your offensive line. Wasn't good in 2020, but he put a lot of guys in the pros, Michigan and elsewhere, and he was the first to really get that Michigan group to finally be good after it hadn't been for the first 4 years of Jim Harbaugh. 3 years, whatever it was. 3 years. Mike Zordich, who had an excellent track record at Michigan. He was just putting guys in the pros left and right. And he made those tough decisions and changed things up. Sharon's going to have to do that because I don't think he's going to get the same type of runway that Jim Harbaugh had, because Jim Harbaugh is Jim Harbaugh. He already had the track record. So it's going to be interesting. But that's my take on it. Again, I'm not calling for anyone's jobs. But I think, like, if you can find upgrades at positions, you need to be a killer if you're Sharon Moore. You have to. And, hey, if you can add guys like, they added Soup Campbell to the wide receivers room, if you can keep adding people that can help out, I think that's absolutely key. But also it'll be interesting to see what happens in the transfer portal, because I think they're going to get some names there this year. I think after watching Georgia, it became that much more clear that they need some names in the middle of that defense. They need him. And because that's what Michigan had for a couple of years. And you see the difference. And Georgia looked crazy. And I think Lou Esposito is a safe bet to keep, right? Like, I think he's been excellent. And he's got the track record of even putting guys in the pros at like Western Michigan. So I've seen complaining on the boards about him, which is like, come on now. But anyway, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for watching. Thank you for listening. We will talk to you again soon. Peace.